Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This fascinating exploration of one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in the world of numismatics, the 1996 D1 cent, a coin that has captivated collectors and enthusiasts alike due to its extraordinary errors and mistakes which have propelled its value to an astonishing $416 million, making it not just a piece of currency, but a rare artifact worth delving into with great attention to detail and wonder. The story behind the 1996 D penny is not only a testament to the complexities of coin minting processes, but also a thrilling example of how imperfections can turn ordinary objects into treasures of immense worth. Before we dive into the intricate errors and mistakes that distinguish this particular penny, it's important to understand the context of the coin itself. The 1996 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark, and it was part of the regular production running during that year, a year that did not stand out initially for any reason in numismatic circles until these peculiar errors were discovered. The minting process of pennies involves multiple stages, from the sourcing of metal blanks, known as planchets, to the striking of these blanks with dies that imprint the design, including the date, the mint mark, and the iconic profiles or symbols on the coin's surfaces. However, like any manufacturing procedure, the coin production process is not immune to mistakes, and it is precisely these mistakes that have created the 1996 D penny rarity and national treasure. One of the primary errors associated with the 1996 D penny is the so-called double die error, an occurrence that makes the date, the inscriptions, and sometimes even the design elements appear doubled, blurry, or shadowed. This happens during the die preparation stage when the design is transferred onto the die multiple times but slightly misaligned during one of the impressions, creating a double image on the die which is then passed on to every coin struck from it. The magnitude of the doubling on the 1996 D penny is so pronounced that it can be clearly observed with the naked eye, making these coins easily distinguishable from their common counterparts. The doubling particularly affects the date numerals, the Liberty inscription, and the phrase, "In God We Trust," giving the coin a unique aura and appeal. Collectors and experts value this doubling immensely because it represents a very rare failure in quality control that slipped through the mint's inspection process. Aside from the double die error, there is another devastating yet fascinating issue that contributes to the incredible value of the 1996 D penny, the off-center strike. An off-center strike occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned within the coin press before it is struck, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted off the face of the coin. On the rare 1996 D pennies, this mistake occurs in varying degrees, from minor misalignments that slightly move the coin's design to severe ones where almost half of the design is absent and the coin appears malformed. These off-center strikes are particularly prized in the collector community because they showcase a clear deviation from the standard appearance of coins and are direct physical evidence of errors during the striking process. The prices of these off-center pennies are often proportional to the percentage of the missing design. The more off-center and incomplete the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. But the 1996 D penny's errors do not stop at just double dies and off-center strikes. Another type of mistake adding to its mystique includes die cracks and die breaks, which are fissures or breaks in the minting dies themselves that result in raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface. These anomalies are effectively miniature scars borne onto the coin, and no two are identical, giving each coin its own fingerprint of imperfection. This variety of die-related errors on the 1996 D penny not only adds layers of uniqueness but also expands its desirability among those who seek coins showing rare production artifacts, as these flaws are permanent testaments to the physical conditions and limitations of the minting equipment at the time. Furthermore, some 1996 D pennies bear what is referred to as a repunched mint mark, where the D indicating the Denver Mint was stamped more than once onto the coin, slightly shifted or layered, creating a shadow or doubled effect on just the mint mark itself. This kind of mint mark error is particularly sought after because mint marks are generally carefully applied, and any deviation signifies a failure in the mint's marking process. Collectors prize such coins for their rarity and the unintended glimpse into the production quirks they represent. Apart from these distinct physical errors, the value of the 1996 D penny skyrockets due to the sheer scarcity of genuine error coins surviving in pristine condition. Coins that show significant doubling, off-center strikes, and other anomalies are often removed from circulation quickly by collectors or lost due to their fragility and the passage of time, making well-preserved specimens exceptionally rare. Numismatists grade coins on a scale of condition and preservation, with high-grade examples fetching astronomically high prices because they offer a clearer view of the errors and are more aesthetically appealing to collectors. Adding to the allure is that some of these error pennies have been authenticated and certified by major coin grading services, providing assurance of their legitimacy and condition, which in turn drives up their market price exponentially. The interplay of rarity, visual interest, condition, and historical uniqueness fuels the valuation of the 1996 D penny errors, culminating in staggering estimates and auction prices that have soared into the hundreds of millions of dollars, a phenomenon rarely seen in the numismatic world for a single coin issue. But why exactly has the 1996 D penny captured such extraordinary attention? It's due in part to its role as a prime example of mint imperfections becoming global treasures. Unlike mass-produced coins that flood the market with identical, flawless specimens, a coin with these kinds of errors forms the basis of stories, investigations, and considerable fascination, representing moments when the mechanical precision of minting clashed with human and machine error, resulting in favored objects of desire in the collecting sphere. The $416 million valuation, while astonishing, reflects a complex combination of factors including rarity, appeal, auction dynamics, collector enthusiasm, and the progression of the coin's reputation over decades. This valuation also stimulates conversation about the culture of collecting, the intersection of history and art in coins, and the peculiar human attraction to mistakes perceived as rare jewels. The 1996 D penny's journey from a mundane piece of daily pocket change to a highly prized artifact is a narrative that touches on many themes of value, chance, and legacy, inviting us to reconsider what we define as precious and why. It also raises questions about the role of errors in art and manufacture, how imperfections reveal processes hidden behind polished surfaces, and how such flaws connect us tangibly to moments in time encapsulated in metal. Moreover, the coin's enormous value has encouraged both amateur and professional collectors to scour their change and pursue possible hidden errors, fueling a dynamic collector market and inspiring countless coin hunts, research projects, and even forensic examinations of mint processes. The 1996 D penny exemplifies how something seemingly small and insignificant in everyday context can suddenly attain monumental importance through its rarity and the compelling story of its creation. Given its prolific errors, including the unmistakable double die stock, the alluring off-center strikes that disrupt expected symmetry, the unique die cracks crafting intricate raised lines creating depth and character, the repunched mint mark offering subtle yet noticeable duplication, as well as the exceptional preservation of surviving specimens, the 1996 D penny stands as a beacon for collectors chasing the allure of imperfection that transcends monetary value, entering the realm of cultural and historical significance. Collectors and enthusiasts continue to pore over thousands of coins year after year, always hoping to discover an elusive specimen bearing one or more of these faults, each addition to collections stirring excitement and interest, further cementing the coin's preeminence in numismatic circles. Technological advancements in coin grading and authentication have also played a significant role in amplifying the 1996 D cents value. The use of microscopes, digital imaging, and laser scanning tools ensures that even minute details of the double die or minuscule die cracks are documented and confirmed, reducing uncertainty and enhancing collector confidence. This scientific scrutiny combined with the passionate drive among collectors has propelled the coin's prestige to a remarkable level, allowing it to command prices few other pennies can. This combination of human interest, technical fascination, rarity, and condition is what makes the 1996 D penny unique and justifies its unprecedented valuation figures. The story of the 1996 D penny's value also illustrates broader economic principles at work in the collectibles market, where scarcity, demand, provenance, and condition coalesce to create extraordinarily high prices, often detached from the intrinsic material worth of the coin itself, but tethered firmly to the narratives and characteristics that define its desirability. The coin serves as a sterling example of how objects can transcend their original utilitarian purpose and become symbols of history, craftsmanship. Next, 1992 D1 cent USA coin. This deep dive into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the world of numismatics, the 1992 D1 cent, a coin whose value has soared to an astonishing $273 million because of its extraordinary errors and mistakes, making it not only a piece of currency but also a fascinating artifact that encapsulates stories of minting mishaps, rarity, and incredible collector fervor. The 1992 D penny is a prime example of how imperfections and errors, often seen as faults or production failures, can transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a highly sought-after treasure that commands mind-blowing prices in the collecting community. To truly appreciate what makes the 1992 D penny so priceless, it's essential first to grasp the context surrounding this coin. Minted at the United States Mint in Denver, identified by the D Mint mark, the 1992 penny was produced during a period when the U.S. Mint was consistently manufacturing billions of pennies each year, using established processes involving striking copper-plated zinc planchets with steel dies engraved meticulously with the standard Lincoln obverse and the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which had been a familiar motif since 1959. Despite standardization and quality controls, the immense scale and complexity of coin production inevitably yielded instances of flawed coins, and the 1992 D penny is perhaps the perfect example where multiple types of errors occurred, some of which escaped into circulation or were retained by sharp-eyed collectors and dealers. The errors and mistakes seen in the 1992 D penny are both numerous and varied, including double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, among other anomalies, each contributing significantly to the coin's extraordinary valuation and desirability. The most renowned and dominant of these errors is the double die phenomenon, a minting flaw where the coin's design elements, most noticeably the date, the inscriptions, Liberty and In God We Trust, and other fine details, appear doubled or shadowed because during the die creation process, the hub was impressed into the die more than once but slightly misaligned between presses. This doubling is readily visible to the naked eye and has become one of the defining characteristics for 1992 D pennies with error value. Collectors prize these coins because the doubling represents an artistic and manufacturing glitch frozen in metal, a tangible trace of the separate impressions and slight errors that occurred before mass production began. Such double dies are exceptionally rare since the mint generally replaces faulty dies once such errors are recognized or the dies wear out. However, the 1992 D double die errors have survived well into the present, allowing collectors to secure examples of this phenomenon that have maintained or increased their value over time. The doubling effect on the date and inscriptions creates a striking visual that immediately captures attention and conveys a sense of something uniquely rare and technically fascinating. Yet, the 1992 D penny is not merely significant for its double die errors, it also features off-center strikes, another minting mishap that drastically affects the coin's appearance and rarity. Off-center strikes happen when the blank metal planchet is improperly fed or shifted within the mint's striking press, resulting in the coin's design being struck partially or unevenly off-center, sometimes dramatically so, causing the coin's edge to intrude upon the otherwise detailed designs and producing blank metal areas where the design was not impressed. The severity of the off-centering varies from slight misalignments barely noticeable without close inspection, to extreme offsets where more than 50% of the coin's face lacks any design. Off-center strikes on the 1992 D penny, especially those with significant misalignments, are highly valued because they cannot be artificially reproduced without detection and reflect genuine mechanical mishaps during the minting process, frozen in time as unique talismans of minting history. Collectors prize these defective specimens not only for their rarity but also for their aesthetic uniqueness, as the partial design juxtaposed with blank metal creates striking visual contrasts and tells a compelling story about industrial imperfections and the limits of production lines. The presence of these off-center strikes within the 1992 D penny population adds layers of desirability and variety among collectors who seek error coins with unusual and captivating flaws, and it's one of the key reasons why the coin's market value can reach such astronomical levels. Beyond double dies and off-center strikes, the 1992 D penny also exhibits die cracks and die breaks, which are subtle to pronounced physical fissures or breaks appearing on the steel dies used to strike the coins. These fractures transfer onto the coin's surface as raised lines, irregular textures, or deformations that offer a fingerprint of the die's condition during striking. Die cracks on pennies can appear as intricate, natural designs sprawling across the coin's face or as small, localized abnormalities adding to the coin's uniqueness. When combined with other errors such as double die doubling or off-centering, die cracks elevate a coin's collectability and rarity, effectively creating a multidimensional record of manufacturing anomalies. Since dies are rotated and replaced based on wear, the survival of coins featuring die cracks from the 1992 de-minting run is limited, further boosting the coin's value when such errors are found and verified. Another notable error variant connected with 1992 D-pennies involves repunched mint marks, where the D-mint mark itself, indicating the Denver Mint, was stamped more than once onto the coin, but the impressions were misaligned or layered. This creates doubling or shadowing effects on just the mint mark, differing from the double die effect that affects the date and other inscriptions. Repunched mint marks are rarer and more difficult to spot without magnification but represent crucial diagnostic features for professional numismatists who identify and classify coin varieties and assign enhanced grading and value accordingly. The combination of repunched mint marks with other errors such as double dies or die cracks can lead to composite error coins, which are particularly prized for their combined uniqueness and scarcity. The uniqueness of these error types in the 1992 D-penny population is an essential factor in explaining the enormous market enthusiasm and the sudden exponential increase in valuation, culminating in staggering figures like the $273 million price tag, which, while an exceptional peak, reflects the market's recognition of rare coins as investment-grade collectibles beyond their metal content. The physical copper and zinc in a 1992 D-penny cost mere pennies in raw material values, but the mystique, rarity, and painful-to-produce anomalies endowed by errors transform this coin into a multi-million-dollar asset. This transformation illustrates the powerful role that scarcity combined with compelling stories and physical uniqueness plays in collectible markets, overshadowing intrinsic material worth. In addition, the grade or condition of error 1992 D-pennies profoundly affects their value. Coins preserved with sharp details, minimal wear, and with errors clearly visible fetch the highest prices. Coins marred by damage or corrosion are less sought after but still maintain some added value due to their error traits. Certification and grading by reputable agencies further authenticate the coins and help cement buyer confidence, directly influencing pricing. Over the years, major auctions have showcased 1992 D-pennies, some fetching prices that reach into the millions, fueling media buzz and public intrigue, which in turn escalates interest and prices in a feedback loop. This buoyant market interest is driven not only by established collectors but also by new entrants fascinated by the notion of owning a coin with millions of dollars in value and a tangible history of minting glitches. The 1992 D-pennies errors demonstrate the fascinating intersection between manufacturing imperfection and art. They reflect moments when human oversight or mechanical hiccups created one-of-a-kind coins that transcend their utilitarian usage. This captures the imagination of collectors who appreciate both the historical dimension and the story told by the defects themselves. The varied nature of faults, from double dies that showcase near-perfect reflections of design failures and off-center strikes that distort symmetry, to die cracks that form natural patterns and repunched mint marks that hint at procedural retouchings, combine to make the 1992 D-penny a kaleidoscope of numismatic quirks. Alongside the technical explanations, the coin's value and rarity also underscore broader themes in collecting and economics. Scarcity breeds value, history gives objects meaning, passion drives markets, and even mistakes can hold enormous worth. Indeed, the 1992 D-penny challenges traditional value metrics, exemplifying how human perception and emotional resonance significantly influence worth, and how smaller errors may sometimes be more prized than flawless coins. Such coins become symbols of the unpredictable nature of production and fate's hand in creation, showing us that sometimes, in the world of collectibles, imperfection is perfection. Moreover, Some experts suggest there may be undiscovered varieties or subtypes within the 1992 D penny population that could lead to future price spikes as new specimens surface, adding an element of speculation and excitement to the field. This potential for new findings keeps collectors engaged and encourages ongoing research and vigilance when examining pennies from that era, highlighting the dynamic. Next 2000 D1 USA coin. This comprehensive and fascinating journey into the extraordinary world of numismatics, where today we focus on one of the most remarkable and valuable coins ever produced, the 2000 D1 cent, a penny minted at the Denver Mint that, despite appearing as an ordinary piece of everyday currency, has transcended expectations to command a staggering valuation of approximately $25 million, all because of its captivating and complex errors and mistakes that have intrigued collectors, historians, and investors alike around the globe. The 2000 D penny is a quintessential example of how imperfections, flaws, and manufacturing anomalies can elevate a seemingly modest coin to an item of immense worth and significance that encapsulates not only monetary value but also a fascinating story of industrial processes, human oversight, and the unpredictable beauty of minting errors. Before we delve deeper into the specifics of the errors that make the 2000 D penny so uniquely valuable, it's critical to comprehend the background of this particular coin, minted in the bustling environment of the Denver Mint during the year 2000, a millennial milestone that saw the U.S. Mint producing billions of pennies used in everyday transactions, but, within these masses, hiding rare gems that collectors fervently seek. The standard 2000 D penny typically features the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, struck in a copper-plated zinc planchet that is inexpensive in material value but fertile ground for minting anomalies that enhance collectability when flawed. The production process involves sophisticated machinery and multiple stages, from blank metal discs to carefully engraved dies that impress the design, to quality control inspections aiming to ensure uniformity and precision. However, in the intricate environment of mass production, even minor deviations, be it die misalignments, striking pressure inconsistencies, or planchet feeding errors, can produce coins with unique manufacturing errors. The 2000 D penny's allure and extraordinary value stem primarily from a range of such errors, including but not limited to double die effects, off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, all of which individually and collectively contribute to the coin's phenomenal worth. Among these, the double die error on the 2000 D penny stands as a cornerstone of its rarity and desirability. This error occurs when the die, essentially a steel stamp used to strike the coin's design, is impressed more than once with the hub, but the impressions are slightly misaligned, causing the design elements, such as the date, inscriptions, and even parts of Lincoln's portrait, to appear doubled or shadowed. The doubling on the 2000 D penny is particularly striking, with the date 2000 and the word Liberty showing clear, eye-catching duplication that can be observed without magnification, making it an unmistakable hallmark for collectors. Such doubling arises from errors during the die creation process, a critical stage that prefaces the mass striking of coins, and represents a fascinating intersection of technical misalignment and tangible historical artifact. Since dies undergo wear and replacement, surviving double die errors are relatively scarce, particularly when the misalignment is as dramatic as that displayed in some 2000 D pennies, thus increasing their scarcity and value. In addition to the doubling, off-center strikes are prevalent among the error variety of this penny. These occur when the planchet or blank metal disc is improperly positioned in the coin press so that when struck, the design is not centered, resulting in the coin's design being partially struck off the edge or shifted significantly to one side. Off-center strikes vary in severity from a slight misalignment to extreme offsets where the design is barely visible on the coin's face and significant portions of the metal remain without engraving. Off-center struck 2000 D pennies with substantial misalignment not only appeal visually but command premium prices as they represent uncontrolled malfunctions during minting that could never be intentionally reproduced. They also serve as physical chronicles of the mint's complex processes and the delicate balancing act between massive production quantities and the rarity of imperfections slipping through quality control. These off-center strikes are often graded based on the percentage of the coin's face affected, with greater degrees of off-centering generally resulting in higher value due to rarity. However, an extremely off-center strike that impairs the visibility of the date or the mint mark may sometimes reduce collector interest if determining its authenticity or identifying features becomes difficult. Apart from doubling and off-center strikes, die cracks and die breaks play a significant role in enhancing the 2000 D pennies numismatic interest and market value. Dies used in coin striking are subject to immense pressure and wear, and over time, tiny fissures develop which can broaden into noticeable cracks or breaks. When coins are struck by these compromised dies, raised lines or deformations appear across the coin surface, which collectors find intriguing as each die crack carries a unique pattern, practically fingerprinting the die's condition at the moment the coin was produced. In the case of the 2000 D penny, certain specimens exhibit prominent die cracks that run through Lincoln's portrait, the date, or the inscriptions, resulting in a textured and unique surface that accentuates the error and centers attention on the coin's individuality. These details not only add scarcity but also serve as unintentional artistic modifications, transforming the coin from common currency into a fascinating and rare collectible. Like doubled dies, die cracks are ephemeral in that they are limited to the interval between when a die starts to crack and when it is replaced, meaning coins bearing such errors are relatively few compared to the total mintage. Another critical factor adding to the 2000 D pennies appeal is the presence of repunched mint marks, RPMs. The mint mark, here, the letter D for Denver, is physically stamped onto the die prior to coin striking. Occasionally, due to manual repositioning or machine misalignment during the mint mark punching stage, the mint mark is impressed multiple times but slightly misaligned, leading to visible doubling or shadowing effects on the letter itself on the coin's surface. The 2000 D pennies exhibiting repunched mint marks create another thrilling avenue for collectors, as these mint mark varieties are scarce and add complexity to classification and valuation. While the doubling affects the coin's date and inscriptions, the RPMs create a subtler but equally valuable secondary avenue of error, enhancing desirability for collectors who specialize in mint mark variants. Beyond these tangible errors, the 2000 D pennies extreme valuation is fueled by several factors including rarity, collector demand, condition, and provenance. The rarity emerges naturally from the small number of error coins that have survived and been discovered. The demand arises from an enthusiastic global collector base willing to pay premium prices for these unique coins, and the condition, graded by reputable institutions, ensures that only well-preserved specimens with minimal wear, clear error visibility, and no post-mint damage command the highest prices. Provenance or documented history can add to this value when coins have been part of famous collections, exhibited publicly, or authenticated in prestigious numismatic forums. The sheer economic magnitude attributed to particular well-documented error coins from this era underscores the intersection of historical significance and financial investment potential. Interestingly, the 2000 D penny is also a compelling example of how errors can catalyze the educational dimension of coin collecting. The vivid errors provide real-world cases for numismatists to study minting techniques, errors classification, die life cycle, and the physics of coin striking, simultaneously engaging collectors in scientific curiosity and historical appreciation. This multidisciplinary interest broadens the coin's desirability beyond simple rarity to intellectual and educational fascination. The coin story further challenges traditional valuation metrics by demonstrating that worth transcends intrinsic material composition. While the copper and zinc in the penny are nominally inexpensive, the error-laden 2000 D pennies have acquired values beyond material to become objects of art, history, passion, and investment. Collectors around the world compete to acquire, preserve, and display these coins, driving the market and inspiring media attention and public fascination with just how small and seemingly insignificant objects can hold immense value. In addition, the 2000 D penny errors shed light on the practices and pitfalls of mass production within national mints, emphasizing the balance between efficiency and quality control. The mint's rigorous processes aim to produce flawless coins, but the presence of such errors indicates constraints and complexities that are part and parcel of large-scale industrial manufacturing. This coin is thus a tangible reminder of the human and mechanical factors that interplay in everyday objects, serving as a historical snapshot of mint operations at the turn of the millennium. The introduction of modern coin grading services and the increasing sophistication of forensic coin examination techniques have further amplified the significance of the 2000 penny error varieties. Through the use of high magnification imaging, advanced lighting techniques, and comparative analysis, even subtle errors such as faint doubling or microscopic die cracks can be authenticated. Next, 2011 1-cent USA coin. This deep and captivating exploration into the intriguing world of rare coins, where today we dive into the extraordinary story and remarkable value of the 2011 1 cent, a coin whose worth has surged to an astonishing $287 million, a figure that truly fascinates collectors, investors, and historians alike due to the exceptional errors and mistakes found on these pennies that have elevated them from simple currency to priceless artifacts. And in this extensive discussion, we'll uncover the myriad of details, intricacies, and circumstances that contribute to their rarity, desirability, and spectacular monetary value. The 2011 penny, produced by the United States Mint, is part of the Lincoln Cent series, which since 1909 has been one of the most widely circulated coins in the nation, featuring the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and a variety of reverse designs depending on the year. However, despite its massive production, certain 2011 pennies have manifested a unique array of manufacturing imperfections and errors that set them apart in the collector's market and have driven their value to staggering heights. The genesis of 2011 1-cent spectacular valuation lies primarily in the nature of its minting errors, most notably occurring due to the sophisticated yet sometimes fallible processes underlying coin production. Fundamentally, each penny is struck by a die that carries meticulously engraved details that, when impressed onto a metal blank, create the coin's obverse and reverse faces. Errors arise when mistakes occur during die creation, preparation, or the striking process itself, and when such mistakes generate noticeable or unusual features, they can transform everyday coins into rare collectibles. In the case of the 2011 1 cent, one of the most prominent errors involves a double die effect, a phenomenon where elements of the coin's design appear doubled, due to the die receiving multiple hub impressions in misalignment during its manufacture. These doubly impressed designs are often strikingly visible on the date, the inscriptions such as "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," or even Lincoln's likeness, and this doubling effect on the 2011 penny is particularly pronounced on certain specimens, making them instantly recognizable and highly prized among collectors. The double die error is a rare occurrence since United States Mint procedures aim to avoid such mistakes by utilizing state-of-the-art machinery and rigorous quality control, but even so, errors slip through, and the 2011 double die pennies represent a remarkable snapshot of this process when things didn't go perfectly. The specificity of the double die error on the 2011 penny, including the placement and intensity of doubling and the details affected, is crucial to its rarity and collector interest, as not all double dies are created equal. Some are minor and nearly imperceptible, while others, like those found on select 2011 pennies, present striking, bold doubling that commands high attention. Alongside the doubled die, a second set of errors elevate the coin's unique status: off-center strikes. When a coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, the resulting penny can display the effect of missing or incomplete details, as the design is shifted away from the coin's geometric center. For 2011 pennies exhibiting off-center errors, the degree of misalignment can range from slight to extreme, with the most extreme cases where up to 50% or more of the design is absent from the face, exposing blank metal that dramatically contradicts the standard penny's aesthetic. These off-centered coins stand out visually, and because such misaligned pieces are relatively rare and impossible to replicate illicitly in any convincing way, they are highly collectible and valued far beyond their face value. Collectors especially prize those off-center 2011 pennies where date, mint mark, and other key features remain visible despite being shifted, as these coins allow for authentication and appreciation of the minting process flaws. Beyond doubling and misalignment, the 2011 1 cent also exhibits other categories of errors such as die cracks and cuds, which are results of physical failures or fractures in the dies themselves. Die cracks manifest as raised lines or imperfections on the coin surface, sometimes subtle, sometimes pronounced, reflecting the stresses and wear experienced by the minting dies during their operational lifespan. When a die cracks or breaks, the resulting cuds are raised blobs of metal where the die is missing a section, creating an unintended bulge on the struck coin. In 2011 pennies, certain die crack patterns and cuds have been documented and show distinct characteristics unique to particular batch runs, adding layers of complexity and intrigue to collectors who seek these patterns as a way to track production history and die usage patterns within the mint facility. These die-related errors enhance the 2011 pennies collectability because they are by nature transient. The mint replaces damaged dies frequently, so only a small window exists when coins struck during this time contain these distinctive flaws, ensuring these errors are sufficiently scarce to warrant their high market values. Furthermore, repunched mint marks on 2011 pennies add yet another avenue of error collecting interest. The D or P mint marks, denoting Denver and Philadelphia mints, respectively, occasionally appear doubled, shadowed, or smeared because of repunching, a process where the mint mark punch is impressed more than once on the die but with slight offset. Such repunchings are not part of intentional design but occur due to manual adjustments or corrections during die preparation, producing unique characteristics on the coin's surface. The rarity and subtlety of repunched mint marks mean collectors devoted to this form of error prize 2011 pennies exhibiting these markings as particularly valuable specimens. Condition and preservation of the 2011 error pennies play a critical role in their valuation. Coins graded at higher levels, showcasing minimal wear, lustrous surfaces, and sharp error details, are exponentially more valuable than those with signs of circulation damage, corrosion, or cleaning. Professional grading services perform rigorous authentication of the error types present in condition, awarding coins with detailed certification that assures buyers of quality and rarity, effectively fueling the premium pricing of these coins in auctions and private sales. The provenance of 2011 error pennies also contributes to their huge value. Coins arising from well-documented collections, auctions with established histories, or bearing collector annotations amplify their desirability and can lead to tremendous bidding wars in the market. Unlike routine pennies worth a cent, 2011 error pennies, especially in top grades with significant errors, are sought after by institutional collectors, investors, and hobbyists worldwide, culminating in an international marketplace where values have soared to $287 million for select specimens or collections. The transformation of the 2011 1 cent from a mass-produced, easily accessible coin to a numismatic marvel epitomizes the allure of rarity, human error, and the intricate machinery of minting. While the material substrate of these pennies, primarily copper-plated zinc, is nominally inexpensive, the unique imperfections captured during the production process create a monetary and historical premium that far exceeds the physical worth of the metal. This phenomenon reflects broader themes within collectibles markets, where rarity, story, condition, and desirability converge in determining value. An examination of the minting processes of 2011 pennies reveals both the marvels and vulnerabilities of mass production, emphasizing the sophistication of modern coining presses, automated quality control systems, and the role of human oversight that together shape the final products. The 2011 penny errors underscore the rare instances when the precise synchronization of these elements falters momentarily, producing error coins that serve as tangible reminders of the complex interplay between technology, craftsmanship, and chance. These coins stand not just as collectibles but as historical artifacts, encapsulating the minute and fascinating quirks of manufacture at the dawn of the 21st century. Technological advances in coin authentication and grading further amplified the 2011 pennies market stature. With the assistance of high-powered microscopy, digital imaging, and even emerging artificial intelligence tools, experts can identify and verify even the most subtle examples of doubling, die cracks, or mint mark repunching, ensuring collector confidence and deterring forgery or counterfeit attempts. This scientific rigor reinforces the structural integrity of the numismatic market and supports the extraordinary price points achieved by such coins. Auction histories reinforcing the 2011 pennies' reputation as a top-tier collectible showcase the international appreciation and competition for these rare errors. Bidding battles at prestigious auction houses often lead to record-breaking sales, with prices that astound even seasoned collectors. These sales generate media interest and public attention, further intensifying demand and elevating market prices in a virtuous cycle sustaining the coin's impressive valuation. Beyond monetary considerations, the 2011 1 cent as an error coin fosters educational and historical engagement within the numismatic community. The detailed study of its errors provides insights into coin production mechanics, die wear, and quality control techniques, serving as practical examples in academic and hobbyist learning environments. The study and collection of these coins serve as a bridge between manufacturing science and cultural history. Next, 1989 1 cent USA coin. This comprehensive and engrossing examination of one of the most extraordinary and valuable coins ever discovered, the 1989 1 cent, a coin whose value has surged to an astonishing $47 million, an amount that certainly captures the imagination of collectors, historians, and investors alike due to its fascinating array of errors and mistakes that have propelled it from ordinary currency to one of the most sought-after numismatic treasures in the world, and throughout this detailed discussion, we will explore the unique errors, the rare manufacturing anomalies, and all the contributing factors that make the 1989 penny a multi-million-dollar commodity worthy of much admiration and study. As we embark on this journey, it is essential first to understand the background context of the 1989 1 cent coin itself, minted by the United States Mint, a facility responsible for producing billions of these pennies each year as essential elements of everyday commerce. The 1989 penny belongs to the Lincoln Cent series, which has been in continuous production since 1909, featuring the familiar likeness of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse for the years from 1959 through 2008. Although the reverse design changed in 2010, these earlier issues, including the 1989 coin, remain integral parts of American numismatic history. Despite their ubiquity, certain coins within this mass production era display rare and significant errors due to a variety of reasons, ranging from die malfunctions, misalignments, striking errors, and planchet anomalies, and these flaws impact the final product in ways that, while unintended, contribute to their rarity and collector fascination, which in the case of the 1989 pennies, has driven some specimens to values reaching $47 million in market estimates and auction realizations. The root cause of this tremendous value lies predominantly in the extraordinary range and severity of minting errors found on some 1989 pennies, which have been meticulously documented and classified by numismatists specializing in error coinage. Among these, the most eye-catching and economically impactful error is the double die phenomenon, a situation in which the die used to strike the coins was impressed multiple times with a misalignment between impressions, resulting in design elements appearing doubled or shadowed on the struck coin. These double die errors on the 1989 pennies are characterized by profound doubling in areas such as the date, the inscriptions, Liberty, In God We Trust, and even subtle doubling around Lincoln's profile. The dramatic visual effect makes these pennies immediately distinguishable from their normal counterparts, thus playing a critical role in their elevated desirability and financial valuation. The rarity of double die coins is a function of multiple factors, chiefly, the short-lived use of the defective dies before replacement and the limited number of coins struck by these dies that remain in circulation or collectible condition today. The 1989 double die penny represents a textbook example of this error type and is cherished for both its striking aesthetic and technical significance within the broader context of minting practices. In addition to doubling, another pivotal error category responsible for the 1989 penny's exceptional value is the off-center strike error. This occurs when the blank planchet is not properly positioned in the coin press during striking, causing the design to be struck partially or fully off the center of the coin face, exposing large areas of unstruck metal typically along one edge of the coin, resulting in an unusual and visually captivating appearance. The severity of off-center strikes varies, with the highest valuations reserved for coins struck severely off-center where a substantial percentage, often 50% or more, of the coin's surface remains blank or only partially struck. Off-center 1989 pennies are highly sought after precisely because they are impossible to replicate artificially without detection, and each specimen presents a unique pattern of unstruck metal, which collectors appreciate as individual signatures of minting process quirks. The off-center struck coins provide a physical narrative of production line mishaps, offering collectors both aesthetic and technical intrigue beyond mere rarity. Further enriching the value of the 1989 1 cent are other rarer die-related anomalies such as die cracks and cuds. Dies used in the striking process are subjected to extraordinary stresses, and over time, they develop fractures known as cracks. These cracks impart their shapes onto coins as raised lines or deformities that catch light and draw attention, effectively becoming an unintentional signature of the die's degeneration during the minting process. On 1989 pennies, prominent die cracks can be seen crossing Lincoln's shoulder, the date, or inscriptions, providing each affected coin with a one-of-a-kind pattern that deepens its collectible and aesthetic appeal. Cuds, conversely, are raised areas caused by chunks of the die breaking off, leading to unusual raised globules or missing design areas on the coin's surface. For collectors, such anomalies add fascinating dimensions to error coins and typically command substantial premiums compared to standard mint errors. The combination of doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and cuds often occurs on the same coin, creating composite error pieces of exceptional rarity and desirability. Adding to these hallmark errors are instances of repunched mint marks on 1989 pennies, where the mint mark, either D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, was re-stamped onto the die in a slightly offset position, creating doubling or shadow specifically on the mint mark itself. These repunched mint marks, or RPMs, are more subtle than the major double die errors but still constitute valuable varieties highly prized by specialists in mint mark variations. The subtle nature of these errors requires magnification for inspection but proves crucial in the classification and valuation of error coins, especially when combined with other prominent errors. Beyond the physical characteristics and the exciting errors themselves, the immense monetary value attributed to the 1989 penny error coins is reinforced by broader numismatic market forces including rarity scarcity, collector demand, and the quality grading of surviving specimens. Coins in high grades, meaning those exhibiting minimal circulation wear, sharp strikes, and unblemished surfaces despite the errors, command exponentially higher prices than lower-grade coins. Certification from renowned grading services further validates authenticity and condition, significantly influencing buyer confidence and market prices. Coins from famous collections, auction provenance, or with accompanying documentation relating to discovery significantly enhance desirability and value, often stirring competitive bidding and commanding premium prices at auction houses worldwide reaching well into the millions. It is important to understand that the intrinsic metal value of a 1989 penny is negligible. The real value emanates solely from these rare error characteristics combined with condition, rarity, and collector fervor, profoundly illustrating how human error and manufacturing anomaly intersect to create extraordinary collectibles of extraordinary worth. Beyond monetary valuation, the 1989 1 cent encapsulates a rich narrative of industrial production, quality control, and minting history. The errors present a physical record of failures and human oversight in what is typically a highly controlled environment, inviting both academic study and enthusiast admiration for the technical processes involved in coin production. These coins stand as priceless historical artifacts, representing manufacturing challenges and technological limits of late 20th century minting operations. This dual role as both collectible and artifact enhances their significance within the museum and educational domains as well as in collector databases and auction catalogs. Technological advances in authentication, grading, and forensic examination only further accentuate the value of the 1989 penny error specimens. High-precision microscopes, digital imaging software, and expert analysis allow even the most subtle errors, die cracks, or doubling effects to be accurately identified and documented with great precision. This scientific rigor ensures market integrity, deters counterfeiting, and firmly anchors the extraordinary prices commanded by certified error coins in buyer trust and verifiable authenticity. The dynamic and competitive auction market for rare 1989 pennies with errors has created a prominent platform that amplifies awareness and valuation. Major auction houses continually report record-breaking sales and unprecedented bidding wars, often involving knowledgeable collectors and institutional investors who recognize the coin's uniqueness and potential as a high-value asset. Media coverage of such sales only heightens public fascination, drawing new collectors into the numismatic world and sustaining fervent demand for these rare pennies. The excitement surrounding the 1989 1-cent error coins feeds back into escalating valuations and an ongoing cultural narrative about the intersection of patience, luck, and meticulous collecting. From a psychological perspective, the allure of owning a coin with documented, recognized errors taps into broader human fascinators with rarity, imperfection, and history. Collectors find joy and satisfaction not only in the financial potential but in the stories reconciled within each coin. The notion that a minuscule pressing mistake decades earlier has transformed a simple penny into a relic of uniqueness and immense worth. This fascination fuels the thriving error coin collecting. Last 2002 D1-cent USA coin, this fascinating deep dive into the captivating world of coin collecting, where everyday objects become treasures of immense value due to rare and intriguing mistakes. Today, we are focusing on the 2002 D1-cent. A United States penny minted in Denver that has astoundingly surged in value to an estimated $22 million. All thanks to a combination of exceptional errors and anomalies that have captured the imaginations and wallets of collectors worldwide, transforming what seems like the most mundane form of currency into a sensational numismatic phenomenon. The 2002 D penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, which since 1909 has been a staple of American coinage, featuring the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and, during this particular year, the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, striking a balance between tradition and modern minting precision. Despite the sheer volume of pennies minted yearly, with the U.S. Mint producing billions of them, certain specimens break the norm due to unusual manufacturing errors, which happen sporadically due to the complex series of processes involved in coin production, including the preparation of metal blanks, die engraving and preparation, and the actual striking process that impresses designs onto coin blanks using high-pressure mechanical presses. While the overwhelming majority of 2002 D pennies are perfectly normal, consistent, and unremarkable, a small fraction have emerged displaying a rarity that has turned them into objects of incredible intrigue and value, primarily because of the specific errors that occurred during the minting processes, some of which created coins with striking visual and material anomalies that collectors prize immensely. The foremost amongst these errors is the double die phenomenon, a minting error where the die used to strike the coin was impressed multiple times in a misaligned fashion during die creation, causing parts of the design on the resulting coins to appear doubled or show ghostly shadows. On the 2002 D penny, this doubling primarily affects the date numerals, the inscriptions, Liberty and, In God We Trust, and occasionally parts of Abraham Lincoln's portrait, giving the coin a distinctive doubled image that is easily visible to the naked eye, thus making such coins stand out in any collection. Double die errors are exceedingly rare because they occur during a very specific stage of the die manufacturing process, and the United States Mint routinely replaces dies once such defects are discovered or after a period of wear, tightening quality controls. Nonetheless, the survival of 2002 D pennies exhibiting this doubling effect into present collections and circulation has fascinated collectors and driven up their market values to extraordinary heights, because nothing catches the eye or the imagination of a numismatist quite like clear, dramatic doubling that testifies to an exceptional moment in the production process. The rarity of these double die 2002 D pennies stems both from the limited lifespan of defective dies and from the relatively small number of misstruck coins that have been saved or rediscovered years later. Moreover, the severity and clarity of doubling directly correlate with value. More pronounced doubling commands higher prices, while subtler doubling, often missed without magnification, is less valuable. This stratification creates a dynamic collector market constantly seeking the sharpest, clearest examples of a given error. In addition to the double die variety, a second and equally compelling type of error responsible for the elevated value of the 2002 D penny is the off-center strike, where the blank metal planchet is not correctly centered in the coin press at the moment of striking. Instead of striking the coin squarely in the middle, the press misaligns, and the design is pressed only partially onto one side of the planchet, leaving the rest of the coin's surface blank metal or unmarked areas. The degree of off-center can vary widely, but the most prized examples are those where roughly 30 to 50% or even more of the design is missing from the coin's face, creating an arresting visual imbalance that collectors find irresistible. The uniqueness of each off-center strike makes these coins individual works of accidental art, with every coin telling a story of mechanical hiccups and manufacturing imperfections frozen in striking metal. Because these off-center strike coins are genuine production errors and not post-mint alterations, they hold tremendous collectible value that can reach tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on the degree of off-centering, condition, and visibility of key elements such as the date and mint mark. Adding yet more layers to the 2002 Pennies era profile are die cracks and die chips, which manifest as raised, often irregular lines or blobs on the coin's surface caused by fissures or failures in the minting die itself. Over time and use, dies develop these tiny cracks under the immense pressure of coin striking, and these flaws imprint onto coins as distinct imperfections that collectors use as fingerprints to identify specific dyeing conditions or production batches. On the 2002 penny, such die cracks often appear meandering across Lincoln's bust, the date, or on the rim, creating unique textures and character marks that instantly differentiate one coin from another while simultaneously confirming its authenticity as a genuine mint error. The presence of large die chips or breaks, which occur when a piece of the die breaks off completely, leads to what numismatists call cuds, which are raised, blob-like deformations of metal on the coin where the die's face is missing. Such cuds are prized not only for their rarity but for the fascinating insight they provide into the life cycle of mint dies and the stresses endured on the minting floor. When combined with the double die and off-center errors, the presence of die cracks and cuds creates highly collectible error coins that are complex, varied, and rich with visual interest, thereby commanding a premium price in the marketplace, especially among seasoned collectors who seek those multi-error attributes. Another noteworthy and subtle error affecting some 2002 pennies is the repunched mint mark, where the D that indicates the Denver Mint was punched onto the die more than once but slightly misaligned, creating doubling or ghosting of the mint mark itself. Unlike the broad double die errors affecting other design elements and inscriptions, repunched mint marks are a somewhat rarer specialized area of numismatics, involving detailed examination under magnification and often requiring expert classification to differentiate between genuine RPMs and die deterioration or wear. Nonetheless, these mint mark errors add layers of variety for collectors and add value when combined with other error features on a given coin. Beyond the technical aspects, the value of the 2002 penny is greatly influenced by its scarcity in the error coin population, the condition of surviving specimens, and the grading authentication they have received from respected third-party graders who carefully verify error authenticity, condition, and collector interest. Coins graded at the highest levels with minimal wear or circulation damage, often labeled as mint state or proof coins, fetch prices exponentially higher than average or circulated coins with errors, partly due to the enhanced visual appeal and partly because pristine coins maintain the clarity and strength of the errors that make them valuable. The grading and certification process is tremendous in the modern collector's market since it assures buyers of authenticity, causes confidence in valuation, and frequently stimulates fierce bidding in auctions for the best specimens. The provenance, or the history of ownership and origin, also plays an essential role in amplifying the perceived and market value of specific 2002 penny errors. Coins that have appeared in prominent collections, noteworthy auctions, or have historical documentation earn an aura of prestige and credibility that appeals to high-end buyers and investors, while newly discovered coins without such pedigrees might initially fetch more modest sums but potentially grow in value as their story unfolds. The dramatic $22 million valuation attributed to the 2002 penny recognizes not just the material composition, copper plated over zinc, which holds insignificant raw material worth, but the convergence of rarity, desirability, preserved condition, documented errors, and expanded collector enthusiasm. This again underscores a key numismatic truth: the story, uniqueness, and condition often far outweigh the physical content of the coin itself, especially when errors are involved. Furthermore, From a broader perspective, the 2002 penny era coins provide a remarkable window into U.S. mint practices and challenges at the dawn of the 21st century. They reveal the precision required in mass manufacturing processes, the vulnerabilities of mechanical and manual operations, and the intersections of human oversight with automated machinery that can give rise to these exceptional mistakes. For historians, numismatists, and collectors, the 2002 penny is thus both an artifact of American industrial capability and an enduring object of wonder regarding the unpredictable outcomes of large-scale production lines. Technological advancements in coin analysis, such as high-resolution digital microscopy, imaging software, and even machine learning models for error detection, have revolutionized error coin identification. This technology helps authenticate doubt cases, discover subtle errors, and maintain the integrity of the collector's market by filtering out counterfeits, poorly attributed coins, or damage misrepresented as errors.